Shall I say a few words, Michael, before we go ahead?
Begabot.
Please. I want to thank you for the Portuguese community for welcoming us and thinking about such a nice event to introduce our Turkish Sephardic community in Amsterdam. So that's very nice of you. Thank you for this evening. Rabbi Serfaty, thank you for hosting this beautiful evening. And I hope everyone will enjoy what they are going to listen to. Also, our guests from Istanbul, Rabbi Perez, Rabbi Naftali, Haleva, and Gerson Şarhon, my dear friends, thank you all for accepting the invitation and not refusing and going to talk tonight. Thanks a lot, and that's all what I want to say. So, Michael, you have the word now to speak.
Thank you, Rafi. It's a pleasure for us as well. Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Minko, and I'm the chairman of the Portuguese-Jewish Community in Amsterdam. And it gives us great pleasure to welcome all of you here in this special Zoom. That is a joint cooperation, as Rafi already mentioned, with the Turkish-Jewish Community in Amsterdam. And Rafi, who is one of the motors of this cooperation and community, I thank him for the support in establishing this unique evening, and we hope to do much more also in the future. Special welcome, of course, to our spiritual leaders, Rabbi Joseph Serfaty of our Kehillah, who will host this evening, and also the Rabbanim from Istanbul, Rabbi Naftali, Haleva, and Rabbi İzak Paris. We are honored to have you in our midst, even at this late hour in Istanbul. Karen will later on reflect on Turkish-Jewish topics as well. And it's interesting because here in Amsterdam, Ladino never got off the ground. So it will be interesting to learn from you. And finally, to close this evening, Nedim will address social topics. We are all closely connected as Sfaradim from the Nation, the great nation established by our beloved ancestors who had the courage to renew their Jewish identity after the expulsion from the Iberian Peninsula and established outstanding communities in Amsterdam, Istanbul, and elsewhere around the globe. Wishing all of us an inspiring evening, and may we have the opportunity to meet in person as soon as the health situation will renew our physical freedom. And I would ask now Rabbi Serfaty to take.
Erev Tov. Dear Mr. Rafi Angat, Mr. Chairman, Rabbi Haleva, my dear friend Rabbi Perez, we learned together in Yeshiva in Jerusalem, İzak Perez and myself. I will ever remember him as Turko. That was his nickname in the Yeshiva. He became a big spiritual leader in Turkey, and I was invited by him to visit the slaughtery in Istanbul 5 years ago, something like this. Really enjoyed the standard, the high standard of the Shechita in Istanbul, together with Rabbi Perez. So I'm happy to see him this evening. Like you said, Rafi, he will follow in a few moments. So he will listen to these welcoming words afterwards. After 1492, we were expelled from Spain. Both Istanbul and Amsterdam gives opportunity for the Jews to live in an open way their Judaism, chofshi, in liberty. So this is something very common. There are few communities worldwide like Thessaloniki, Turkey, the Ottoman Empire that we remember till today with a big thank you, and of course the Netherlands. And this is something that we have in common. Today, with the invention of Zoom, we can have in common even more. So for me, it's a very big honor, a pleasure to welcome our Turkish brothers in Amsterdam. you know, we are now Chodesh Adar, the month of Adar. We will read the Megillat Esther. It will be written worldwide, the same words. And we read the trouble that happened with Haman. Haman wanted to kill all the Jews because they were Am Mefozar or Meforat. They were people different than other people. Am Mefozar or Meforat, spirited. There were some Jews in this country, some in other country, some in the third country, and so on. That means Mefozar. Meforat means separated. They were separated from the population, from the local population. Jews never are angry on local population. They are integrated, but they make the difference between being integrated and assimilated. And the Jews in the empire of Achashverosh, they were really Meforat, so separated from the people, and Mefozar, spread it in all the country. Haman found this something not good. There is our wisest interpretation, Meforat, not that they were separated from the native people in their countries, but between themselves, there was some separation. Jews from the one country and other country, they were not able to live together in the same synagogue. Achashverosh was king Mehodu ve'ad Kush, from India till Kush, maybe it's Ethiopia, I know. But the Jews from the one community and Jews from another community, they were Meforat, they were separated. And then after that, Haman says, I don't need separation between people, I will kill them all. Anashim Nashim Vataf. We saw this in Germany, we saw this everywhere. When they're not happy with us, we are all brothers. They can kill all the Jews, like the German says, like Haman says, Anashim Nashim Vataf. Men, women, and children, all together. We don't make a difference between Jews. They are all Jews. And that's why the Purim story finished with Lech Kenos et Kol HaYehudim. Go take all the Jews together. Mordechai asked for Esther, you want me to pray for you? You want to convince Achashverosh not to kill the Jews? There is only one thing to make. Lech Kenos, go and bring together et Kol HaYehudim, all the Jewish people. And it's the mitzvah that we have on Purim, Mishloach Manot, Ish Lere'ehu, to give presents, one for his brother, Ish Lere'ehu, between friends, Ish Lere'ehu, not for the neighbor, Ish Lishcheno, not for the neighbor, not for something, somebody that is living in the same town, as same citizenship, but Ish Lere'ehu, one to his brother, one to his friend, because this is how we can make the balance with what Haman wanted from us. So I think that this opportunity to have been joined in our community with our brothers and sisters from Turkey that are living now in Amsterdam, of course, the band, the kesher with Turkey will continue for you forever. But here also you're not lost. You have the Sephardic community, the Portuguese community here for 400 years. So we welcome you. We're happy with you. I wish you all the best. Chag Purim Sameach. And I will give now the word back, please, for the first guest speaker. Toda rabah.
Bende mi söz Rafi? The president, everybody, you hear me? Yeah. The president of the Portuguese-Jewish Community, Mr. Michael Minko, Rafi Angat, my dear friend, Rabbi Serfaty. It's my honor to be with the Portuguese-Jewish Community together with tonight. I'm going to try to give some briefing about the Jewish community, the structure of our Jewish community. Can I share something? Okay. Okay. Good evening to everyone once again. That the president says, the last thing that he said about the Iberian Peninsula, which is in 1492. Our ancestor came from, as we know, that from that time, 1492. And on that time, the Sultan Bayezid II, I'm just going to 1 second. You see this slide? Or could you able to see it? Okay. Yeah. As we know, the Sultan Bayezid II, it says Catholic monarch Ferdinand was wrongly considered as wise as he impoverished his country, and with the expulsion of the Jews in ancient hours. When the Jews came to Istanbul, to Turkey, to Ottoman Empire, as we know that they did a lot for the civilization in Ottoman Empire. I'm not going to go to historical point. We have a very short time. I'm going to try to give some briefing about the Turkish-Jewish community and the structure itself. First of all, that the number to see is from 2015. The reason that I put 2015, in order to make the distinguish from 2015, right now 2021, how unfortunately how the number one has been diminished from that time till today. As we know, the population estimate to be 18,500. I'm talking about the number 2015. Today in Turkey, in Istanbul, is more or less, we believe that we do have 16,000, 17,000 Jews. So as we see, within 5 years, that even the Jews, they like to give the number high, but I don't think, always from my childhood, we used to say 18,000 Jews, they live in Turkey. Today that I believe that we do have about 16,000 Jews that live in Istanbul. And as you see that Bursa, which is a number of 60 people, today within the 5 years, there are about 35 people in Bursa. Çanakkale, as you see, 9 people today, there's 5 people. Edirne still is only 1 person. Kırklareli is more or less, it says 5, I think it's only 2. Izmir, it says 1,350. Today they do have 950 people. Adana, it says in 18, I think they have a slightly minyan. No, Adana is about 8 people. Antakya, which is, it says 18 people within 5 years. Today they have a very slightly number of minyan. As you see, within 5 years, the number has been diminished. There's a sociological problem in Turkey. The rate of the birth within the rate of the death is very problematic. Let me give the example. Every year we do have 100 people born in a yearly. Unfortunately, we're losing 250 people in a year. So we're talking about 200 people dead and 100 people born. Every year, within the death and the birth rate, we do have about 150 people, 200 people being diminished within the Jewish community. So we're talking about within 10 years, the number going to diminish just from the rate of the death and from the rate of the birth is about 2,500 people going to diminish within 10 years. And when you do also people that moving from Turkey to different countries, such as to Europe, to United States, to Israel, and the number is going to be diminished. And when you're talking about the assimilation, and the number is going to be diminished. So unfortunately, within 10 years, 15 years, the number is going to be very small within the Turkish-Jewish community. Unless they're going to be, the rate of the birth is going to be high, but I doubt it. I don't believe it. Because the Jews, usually they don't, there's many people, they're getting married with a late age, such as 35, 40 years old, and they like to get married. So this is why the number of the Jewish community is going to diminish within 10 years. When we go to further, of course, the Sephardim is 96% of the Jewish population are Sephardim, and 4% of the population is being Ashkenazic within the Jewish community. As you see, we are dominate in Turkey as a Sephardic Jewish community. So within the Sephardic, and there's of course, I'm not going to get details. There's an aging community. We talk about there's a distribution within the age group, like 65 and above, how many percentage of the Jewish community. This is basically the chart within the distribution of the age group, as you see in the chart itself. If we go to further with the Jewish structure, which is very different, the structure than the Europe. We have the chief rabbi. I know the same model that they do have in Italy, in London, but the Turkey is totally different. Of course, there's a chief rabbi. But within the chief rabbi, there's a president, there's a Beth Din, with the Jewish court, which is my dear friend, Rabbi Peres is with me. We're working together. And there's a council of representative and executive board, the board of the counselor. So the main figure, the main person, the main leader within the Jewish community is the chief rabbi. The reason I'm saying it's totally different structure than Europe. I know in Europe, there's a structure of the congregational life that you are member in the congregation. The same thing in United States. How many people that you are member that within the Jew, the rabbi is basically the rabbi of the congregation. But in Turkey, it doesn't work like that way. In Turkey, of course, we have the synagogue. I've happened to be the rabbi of Ortakoy at Ahayim Synagogue, but the way it works in Turkey, the members is belong to the Jewish community. So we're talking about the Jewish community itself, and the person can go any synagogue he wants. So basically the membership, the member, everything is under the supervision of the chief rabbinate within Turkish-Jewish community. The Turkish-Jewish community, Beth Din, council of representatives, they work together. And the president, the chief rabbi, there's a very unique Jewish community. Even the membership, when I said that anyone, which is totally different, anyone going to have a bar mitzvah, a wedding, has to apply his form to Jewish community. Jewish community checks that if it's Jewish or not. Then he pays a membership due, which I'm not going to get the details, how much it costs the membership due, which everyone is different, okay? Which is that, is totally different structure, because in Europe, you have a membership due, it is applied to everyone. In Turkey, it's not the same thing. Of course, the wealthy person we try to, he should give more, and, different membership to everyone. And if you're not paying your due in a membership in the Jewish community, you cannot perform your bar mitzvah, your wedding to any synagogue. So basically, the synagogues, the Jewish hospital, old age home, the Jewish school, everything is under umbrella of the Jewish community. That's make unique. Why make unique? Whenever the people come to Turkey, they ask, how many Jews that in your community are religious? We don't make distinguish between religious and non-religious. We don't have a color. They're no reform, conservative, or conservatorx, or whatever you name it, liberal and everything. We're basically one Jewish community. It doesn't matter what kind of identity he has. Be trying to make harmony to everyone to live together in one umbrella, which is difficult. This is why to be a rabbi in a Sephardic world is much more difficult than Ashkenazic Jewish community. Because in Ashkenazic Jewish community, if you're a rabbi in one synagogue, you know the people that, what kind of identity they have. In our community, as a rabbi, we're trying to make happy to everyone. The religious one, non-religious one, the liberal one, the reform one. We're trying to make a decision to everyone to be harmony. And that makes our job much more difficult. This is why sometimes, whenever we make a halachic decision, sometimes the religious one are upset. Sometimes non-religious one are upset. So we're trying to bring a basically decision that more or less the Jewish community entirely should be happy, which is very difficult. This is the structure of the leadership within the Jewish community. If I go further, of course, we have all the institutions, such as youth, family clubs, synagogue foundation, social sport association, Jewish school education press, activities, living in Turkey. Basically, we have all the institutions, you name it. So this is why we are very, very wealthy within the structure within Jewish community. I can be proud within my Jewish community. Of course, everyone is proud of his own Jewish community, but I can tell you why I'm proud of it, because in our Jewish community, and Karen can give you the exact number, but more or less, we have about 1,000 volunteers, which is, in a Jewish hospital, in old age home, in a Jewish school, all the boards, everything is volunteer. So I can name it within 700 people, 800 people, the women groups, they are volunteers working within Jewish community. I don't think so anywhere in the world they have such a high number of volunteer works within Jewish community. So this is why I can be proud about my Jewish community, because every place, youth club, school, hospital, everyone, we do have a very big very big team, volunteer team, they work within Jewish community. If I go further, of course, the youth club, we do have 2 youth clubs, one in Europe side, the other Asian side. They try their best possible to, to bring all the youth together and to give them a cultural Jewish identity within the youth club. This is some pictures within youth club. We have also sport club, we have a theater club, we have, of course, Ladino, which is Karen is going to give more information. I know probably. Ladino is not a language, a speaking language, but there's incredible activities even done by Karen Gershon, Izet Bana, for the children's choir, which is my kids, my 3 kids. They don't speak the language itself, but because of the children's choir, they grow up in Esreikas and they can sing the cultural song, Ladino songs in the table, which is very important. That the language today is very difficult to bring back the language itself, but we should create a lot of activities, the Ladino culture and the Ladino not speaking language, but the cultural wise should come back to our Jewish community, which is that we're doing a lot of activities within our Jewish community. We have 19 synagogues, which is most of them is open holidays and Shabbat. We do have a 4 center synagogue is open every day. One in Asian side, which is Jadebostan. The other one is Shishli. The other one Ortakoy, which is the rabbi, which I'm the rabbi of the Ortakoy synagogue, which open every day. Shishli, Ortakoy, Jadebostan are the synagogue which is open every day, daily service and night service. Ashkenazic synagogue also is opening every day, except Sunday. I think they're closed. Today, because of the pandemic, they're closed, but there are 3 major synagogues which is open every day. The rest is being open only holidays and Shabbat. We have 3 synagogues in the island, which is open only during the summer. Most of the Jewish people, they do go to the summer houses in order to spend their time in summertime, which I recommend to everyone as a touristic, if you come during the summer, is incredible side point that you will love it when you come to island itself during the summer. This is basically some of the picture of the synagogues. Neve Shalom synagogue, Ashkenazic synagogue, some of the old one, Achrida, which is over the 500 years. Haidar Pasha synagogue, which is huge synagogue. As you do Achrida synagogue, historical synagogue, which is from 1492 till today, is being open Achrida synagogue. I just want to give this map in order for you to see in Istanbul. This is basically the synagogue location. Synagogue location. The Jews are very close by. They are very close to each other. As you see, we don't have a Jewish ghetto anymore. We don't have the Jewish quarter, but most of the Jewish people are basically living in the major neighborhood in Istanbul. You can basically figure out from the map itself. Religious stuff, of course, we have Shochtim, Moalim, Enters, Chevra Kadisha, Mikveh, which is, kosher catering, kosher 11 kosher butchers, kosher cheese and wine. We have the Bennett, which is the kosher department. They have a lot of produce about the kosher products. As you see, it's a live Jewish community. We have everything within the Jewish community. Whatever you need as a religious need, we do have in our Jewish community. Of course, we have a Jewish hospital, or Ahayim Jewish Hospital. As you see, there's it's 107 years old. General Hospital, geriatric service. Of course, there are a lot of services within Ahayim Jewish Hospital. Today, there's one of the biggest discussion within Jewish community. Today, what should we do with the Jewish hospital? Because they have a decision, maybe that we should rent the hospital to other place, because not a lot of Jews, they do go to Jewish hospital. But today is basically that this is the decision of the Jewish community. The last thing that I want to go further. What happened there? Sorry. Hospital, old age home, which is that you see some picture of old age home. Matan Baseter is basically for needy person that we need. Jewish day school, which is we do have a Jewish school, 640 students. Basically, we have some picture from the Jewish school. Jewish education, Talmud, Torah, Bar Mitzvah school, pre-marriage education, Hebrew groups for all age groups. There are some activities going on. The press, Shalom newspaper comes once a week. And we have a museum of the Turkish Jews that basically try to teach about the Jewish life in Turkey. The last thing, basically, the European Day of the Jewish culture is very successful. We do have trying to teach to non-Jews what a Jewish community means, and it's very successful event. And the last, basically, limud, and that most of you knows about the limud, is based off limud United Kingdom model, started from 2005, and where more than 1,100 people are being attended to limud. It's very successful educational activities that for ourselves. This is basically the structure of our Jewish community. Thank you very much for listening to me. If there's any question, I will be happy to listen, to help you to answer as much as as possible. There are some questions. I think there's one question here about how about the Giurim. The question is, you tell me, Rafi, whenever that I should stop for the next speaker. The Giurim, basically the conversion, we're trying to make not to have a conversion, because we, as a Bedin, our decision not to convert any Muslims. This is basically that this is the decision that we took over from our rabbis from many years. This is basically, we believe that in our country that we live in a Muslim country. So this is why there's no whatsoever any conversion to Muslim. So once you don't have a conversion from the Muslim, basically you don't have a lot of conversion. There are some, Christian everything. We're trying to our best possible not to convert to anyone, because today the generation that Leshem Shemaim is not serious conversion is being done. This is why that's, we don't have a lot of conversion in our country. What else? There's 1 second. Is it very safe to openly Jewish there, like wearing a kippah? In Turkey, of course, there's anti-Semitism like everywhere, but this is not street. We don't have a street anti-Semitism that like many places in Europe. Actually, you can able to wear kippah freely. I believe so. I did sometimes. I forgot the kippah. Most of the people in my neighbors, they know I'm the rabbi. We don't have this street anti-Semitism in Turkey. Of course, we have the anti-Semitism like everywhere, but I just can give you a small example. Why in Turkey is a safe country to live and it's a harmony. And this country is really, the anti-Semitism is not like the same as Europe. Mavi Marmara event, which we're talking about, 10 Turkish citizens, people were killed during the boat. In Turkey, there were no riots and there were no hatreds to the Jews during the Mavi Marmara boat. In Europe, there was much more anti-Semitism riot in Turkey. So this is why that shows in our country, basically, there's a safe to live as a Jew in the entire country. That's, I believe. There, 1 second.
Where did Ashkenazim come from? Oh.
What else? 1 second. Thank you. Okay. Are many people from outside Turkey moving to join the community? No, we don't have any. We don't have a lot of people that come to our country to live. Are there any famous tombs in Turkey of Tzaddikim? Of course. We're talking about 500 years history. We have basically Machane Ephraim, which is that's in Kuskunjuk. There are a lot of big rabbis basically from our Tzaddikim. And one of the biggest tzaddik that in Izmir, Rabbi Chaim Palachi, and there's other tzaddik for Ashkenazic Jews, Naftali Kohen, which is a like small story. He was running away from Poland to Israel. Happened to be he come to Turkey. He loved Turkey, and he saw the Bosphorus spirit, the Bosphorus and the view and everything. He decided to stay in Turkey, and happened to be he was there. In my synagogue, in Ortakoy synagogue, He prayed in my synagogue, which is, I'm talking about many years ago, and he was buried in our Ortakoy synagogue cemetery. So a lot of his followers do come to visit his cemetery, his grave. Of course, we have a lot of cemeteries, Sadiqim. I think those are the questions.
Rabbi, we should go with the next person, please. Rabbi Perez, can we continue with you?
Yes.
Good evening, welcome.
Evet. Chazaku Baruch, Rabbi Naftali. First of all, good evening to everyone. Dear Michael Minko, the president, and Rafi Angad, and Rabbi Serfaty, my dear friend from Midrash Sefaradi, and the Portuguese community members. Thank you for all you for inviting me here tonight. I'm trying to give some explanation about the Turkish Istanbul customs, and also Izmir also included inside. Now I'm trying to share a couple pictures, and I'm gonna explain a couple traditions as much as I can. First of all, let's start from the good one, pregnancy. There's a funny custom in Turkey. It's almost old one. When a pregnant woman has a round tummy, they say it's a girl. And when is a pointed tummy, they say it's a boy. So according to those explanations, in those years, they were trying to guess because they didn't have technology to figure out what is coming, boy or girl. So they were trying to figure out from the look of stomach. And then the second one, they called baño de novia, the bridal bath. Ladies, they get together and they have a really feast. They eat, they drink, and also they're enjoying, and also they're trying to figure out all the details between those families. And then they're enjoying because they're having very, very nice days. It's coming very soon. There's also a para de ashuar, displaying the dowry. Especially, they're trying to show and to look whatever she brings and whatever he's going to bring. Those details they're using in they knowing each other. They also call boga de novia, because whatever she needs, according to their family for personal needs, she's bringing everything, and also she's getting for a present. And then the next step, we have different customs. One of it is cama de novia, the preparing of the bed of the couple. The person who's supposed to make the bed should have a happy marriage. That was the first detail they're supposed to get it. And then they arranged the bed in order with blessing. They threw sugars on it. They put sweet things, and they pray that God will make this home happy with beracha and with the atlacha. The next one, we can say also very happy.
Rabbi, sorry for disturbing.
Yes.
Your presentation doesn't work, so we just see the first page. We don't see any of the photos. Can you open the presentation? We just see the first page.
1 second, sorry. How is now?
Now we can see it, but all the things that you told was about some pictures, but we didn't see them.
Okay, I'll repeat them in 2 seconds. One second. Ay, görmüyorlar bunu. Okay, now. Okay, let's resume whatever I said. One second. Okay. We talk about at the beginning the pregnancy that was shown, I think. The second was the baño de novia. The ladies get together and they have a fest, and it's all about drinking, eating, and enjoying. And then it was displaying the dory, la cama, aparar la asciugare, la cama de novia, as we mentioned. The personal things that she needs and the sherry things that they need for the house, it's prepared before the marriage. And then the second was the cama de novia, we said, because we said the person who has supposed to make the bed should have a happy marriage. That was the condition also. And after this, we're wishing for sure kids at home. And then before the kids comes, they make fashadura, the 5th or the 7th month, a long piece of cloth, they cut it. And also this symbolizes the hope for a long, healthy life for the baby. And this cloth, it's gonna be wear when the kid, if it's boy, in the circumcision time. If it's daughter, and the zevedabat, when they're gonna put a name for the daughter. After this, moving the house, we have different customs, especially before moving from the house, we took with us sugar and rice and flour and eggs, and also sweetie things, because we believe the house that we're living, it's full with blessing and healthiness and prosperity, and then we should bring all of them for our new house, for our new life in our new houses. There is a comic thing also. They bring broom for the new house, and they say, I asked for all the old people, they said if they have visitors at home, and if they're staying for a long time, they don't want to leave. So they were putting a needle on the broom, and they put the broom behind the door in order to make them go very, very quick way. And circumcision, it's mitzvah, but also we have different custom, because they in different communities, they usually have one chair for Eliyahu and Navi. But in Istanbul, we always use 2 chairs. One is for sandak, for the grandfather, for the or who holds the baby, and the second chair was for Eliyahu and Navi. We have also one custom. They put a cookie or water under the chair in order to benefit for the blessing that Eliyahu and Navi brings. And also we dress the baby, as I mentioned, with the cloth that was cut in the baby shower ceremony, fashadura, and the person who dressed the baby should have their parents alive. That's why not everyone has ability to dress the baby. And we name the baby after their grandparents, no matter they are alive or not. And they're using their names in order to honor them. One of the grandfathers, if it's sandak, the other grandfather has the petichat echal. That's the way we honored all of them. That's very shortly our different customs also. if there are questions, I can answer a couple of them.
There are some general questions. Maybe you can answer them as well
Okay.
in the chat part.
Okay.
About the Edirne synagogue, why was it rebuilt? And also we have Marcelo from the Portuguese synagogue. He's actually from Spain, and he lives in Amsterdam. And he says that the Cama de Novia, it's also a celebration that they also continue in Spain.
Ah, very nice. Okay. So we learned also. So there is no question, but the question is, I think, why was the synagogue of the Edirne rebuilt? There is only one Jew left. Are there ever ceremonies or celebrations? Yeah, they had a wedding over there, and the renovation, it wasn't done by Jewish community. It was done by the Turkish government. But they said, since you have opportunity to pray and to celebrate any ceremony in the synagogue, it belongs to you. When you stop and there is no any Jew in Turkey, so it's our own prosperity.
Ik geloof dat Johanan Boosman een vraag heeft, klopt dat? Bar, kun jij Johanan even unmuten? Question from Johanan Boosman. One second,
what was
please.
the question? What was the question?
No, he's gonna be unmute now. 1 second.
Okay.
Please. Johanan, die kun je jezelf unmuten.
Ja, ben ik te horen? Ik hoop het,
Yeah,
ja.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I just have one question.
Yes.
Are there still living Dunme in Turkey or not? Dunme, those Jews who they didn't remain Jews, are they still living there or not?
I'm sure they're living, but we don't know who are they. Since if they're not tell us they were Dunme, we don't have ability to figure out who are they, as much as I know. Because since those days, they had a troubled and difficult time, so it's not easy for them. I heard that there are a lot of people, they even celebrating Pesach in their home. Wow. But we don't know. We don't know who are they and when, where they're living.
So they don't have special names by which you can recognize them. That's not the case.
Not that much that we can figure out they are done.
Yeah. And I had the second question that may be a sensitive question. I don't know. It's told a lot, I heard, that the father of the Turkish revolution, he would have a Jewish background. Is there some truth in it, if you are allowed to talk about it?
Let's not talk about political things.
No, this is not political. It's just about whether it's a Jewish background. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Johanan. And I would like to ask Meir Bahar to unmute himself so he can also pose a question.
I already asked my question regarding the Dunme. Was my question.
Okay. And then after there was one question previously after Rabbi Haleva spoke about the budget for all the Jewish activities for the hospitals and for the old age home and all the other impressive activities. Can you say something about it? This was the question of one of our members.
The budget? About the budget?
Where comes the budget for all these impressive activities, schools? I mean, how can you say something about the financial structure of the Kehillah?
First of all, our community based on donations. Mm-hmm. There are some buildings and very small things that they're having monthly incoming. But besides this, they're all trying to get all from Kisba. It means donation from the people and do, as Rabbi Haleva said, for yearly that they're paying. Besides this, the school is not for free. So the budget is helped by the families also. And the hospital is not for free. It's also little bit cost, even they're having a discount. But besides this, it's not for free. So the budget is not that big.
I understand. Thank you very much. And I think there's a last question in the chat. Where do people get smicha and go to yeshiva in Turkey? This is the last question before we go
Very
to
nice
Keren.
question. We would like to have we would like to have to bring it that they used to give smicha in Istanbul, Chachmei, Turkey, but unfortunately, since more than 50 years, we don't have this. Me, myself, and my friend and other rabbis, we studied out of Turkey. I studied in Israel. Naftali studied in America. The other, my friends, they studied in Israel. So we don't have a structured yeshiva in order to have a smicha in Istanbul, unfortunately.
Mr. President, if you don't mind, sorry, can I add to the question that you asked? This is, I think, is very important. I know as a president you want to know, but this is that we are basically advantaged to be one unity, one Jewish community. Every month, all the synagogues presidents gets together, and the Jewish president with the head of the Jewish presidents tells to every synagogue how much money needs for entire Jewish community. Let's say, I'm just giving for example from my synagogue, every year they send a bill to my synagogue saying that much money you have to pay to chief rabbinate, or that much number of the scholarship you have to give to school. So basically entire Jewish community within one umbrella helps in order to bring alive and trying to create the Jewish community. This is why it's very important to work together, not congregation, as a Jewish community.
The unit, thank you very much, Rabbi Haleva. This unity is very impressive, and I thank you and Rav Peres for your elaborate explanation about the structure and about Minhagim in Turkey. And with your permission, I would like to give Keren the floor, please.
Okay, hello. How are you, everyone? Okay, so we had two very nice, wonderful speakers who have summarized quite a bit about the Turkish Jewish community. And I would like, as Rafi asked me to do, I would like to talk about Ladino and the cultural part and what we're doing today to get the cultural affairs going. So I want to share my screen with you guys. Okay, so we're going to do, let's see. Okay, here it is. Right. So I'm the coordinator of the Sephardic Culture Research Center in Istanbul, Turkey. And our center has been going on since 2003. For quite a long time, actually, and we've done a lot of work to collect, document, preserve whatever cultural aspects that we had going for many, many, many years. I mean, we have a history of 530 years, as Rav Naftali said, and it's I will start by showing you this map, which you can find in any kind of website that you're looking for. This is the the routes that the exiled Jews took when they were exiled from Spain. So as you can see here, some of them went to Portugal, and then from there on they came to your part of the world, and from the north of Spain as well. And from the east of Spain, from the south, they went to crossed the Gibraltar, and then they went to North Africa. And then from the east, there was this huge wave of people who came to the Ottoman Empire. Now, this was the Ottoman Empire. It was a huge empire at that particular time. So I like this map because it shows how huge the empire was. I mean, every country that we know was nearly in it, except for some of the European countries. But the Jews, where did they settle? They settled in this area, really, west of Anatolia, Thrace, the Marmara region, and the Balkans. Okay, so most of the Sephardic Jews settled there. Weren't there any Jews before them? Of course there were. There were the Byzantine Jews. I mean, the Jews had been in Anatolia for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. However, the Spanish Jews came in such big waves that they swallowed them all. And finally, it all became a huge Sephardic community. Now, so Istanbul, Edirne, Izmir, Salonika were the centers of culture and language. And as soon as the Jews arrived in the Ottoman Empire, they started their own printing press, which is very impressive, really, because the Ottoman press came about 400 years later. Now, this is the important thing. According to the Ottoman rule, the minorities were concerned dhimmi. In Turkish, it's zimmi, which means under the protection of the empire. Now, the communities ruled themselves mainly through the Bet Din, and they paid taxes to the authorities. Otherwise, there was no interference with anything by the authorities. Now, this is very important because it allowed the Jewish community to preserve whatever they brought from Spain. Now, this doesn't occur anywhere else in the world. I mean, the Jews who went to north of Europe, west of Europe, northwest of Europe, they quickly assimilated into the major culture, and then they lost the language that they were speaking. Now, this is also something that I have to tell you, that the language that these Jews spoke at that particular time was not Spanish as we know it today, because Spain was divided into many, many little different kingdoms at that particular time. And in every kingdom, in every area where the Jews lived, they spoke the dialect of that particular region. So Ladino was not a language that existed in that time. They spoke Castellano, they spoke Catalan, they spoke Gallego, they spoke all the languages of the Iberian Peninsula. So it is only when they came to the Ottoman Empire that all these dialects, just imagine a cauldron, and all these dialects were dumped into that cauldron, with the major part being being Castellano, because the biggest empire in Spain at that particular time was the Castilian kingdom. So just imagine you have the Castellano in the cauldron, all these other dialects. Also, there were people who came then afterwards from Portugal as well, when the Inquisition arrived in Portugal. And so you have influences from Portuguese, then you have influences from the places they stayed at, because some of them didn't come directly into the Ottoman Empire. But then that is when the Ladino or Judeo-Spanish or Judeo-Spaniol was born. It was born as a language in the Ottoman Empire. Ladino is an Ottoman language. This I cannot stress enough, because it is a linguistic phenomenon that does not exist anywhere else. And if you read any linguistic book, you will see that any immigrants that go to a new country will lose the mother language in 4 generations. That is the rule. And here we see a very, very strange and unique phenomenon that tells you that our first generation kind of lasted about 500 and more years. And it is only in the 1970s that the language kind of declined, And then in the 1990s, there was almost a renaissance. And now in the time of the pandemic, there is a huge renaissance going on about the language. And I will talk about that a little bit later on. Now, this was the alphabet that they used to use. It's called an alfabeto Rashi. And as you can see, they used an adaptation of Hebrew letters so that when you read, Spanish comes, okay? So, and then these little, we call them ranchos, these little scrolls were the solitreo, the handwritten form. So today, after the alphabet reform in Turkey, which took place in 1934, only a handful of people can read these letters. Unfortunately, we have lost like a lot of the written treasury because people can't read this. I mean, in Israel, they can, some of the rabbis can, and you have to know the language really well, because the problem here is that there are two letters. Vav is read as U or O, and Yot is read as I and E. So you have to really know the word in order to know what it is about. Now, another important date is 1860, and that's the foundation of the Alliance Israélite Universelle schools throughout the empire. This brought the introduction of the Latin alphabet to the community. And many social changes occurred because of the education provided by the Alliance schools. So the Alliance schools were French medium, and the community was kind of divided into two: the elite class who spoke French, and the others who were looked down upon, who did not speak French. So there is that kind of, and there's a lot of influence that came into the language through French. Now, because of the special system in the Ottoman rule, the Jews were able to preserve most of their cultural heritage, their language, their cooking, music, traditions. And that is what we in the Sephardic Center are trying to collect. 1923 was the Turkish Republic. That's when the Turkish Republic was founded. And again, this brought the introduction to the Latin alphabet. And again, a lot of social changes. What kind of social changes? Well, first of all, it was the women who started studying in schools for the first time. Before that, it was only the boys who went to yeshiva. In 1860, with the coming of the Alliance schools, the women started getting out of the house. So now that you might consider that a very nice and, you know, progressive thing. Okay, yes, it is, but there's always a price to pay for progress. And when you get the women out of the house, when they go out of the house, then of course, their main let us say job is to transmit all the values, all the traditions to the future generations. When they are not in the house, then well, that job is kind of not as good as it used to be, let us say. Okay, so Nafi said, you know, we are about 16,000. I would guess about 15,000. About 1,000 in Izmir, a handful in other cities. Most of us live in Istanbul, and we have a few Ashkenazi as well, but I always call them watered down version of Ashkenazis, because as everyone has intermarried with Sephardim, our Ashkenazi people are not purely Ashkenazi. One part or two parts of their families are always Sephardic. So, okay, so Nafi talked to you about this, so I'm going on. Now, I would like to talk about the Sephardic Culture Research Center. And it was founded in December 2003 under the auspices of the Chief Rabbinate of Turkey, which, as our rabbis told you, everything is under the, you know, the Chief Rabbi kind of is the umbrella of every Jewish community or every Jewish institution. And our job is to collect, document, preserve as many of the Sephardic cultural elements that are in and values that are in danger of disappearing. So one of the things that is very important to our center is that we publish the world's only monthly newspaper entirely in Judeo-Spanish, and that is called El Amanecer. And the motto of El Amanecer is Cuando mucho escurece es para amanecer, and when it gets really dark, it means dawn is coming. So this is really important because we are celebrating our 17th year of publishing this coming month. It will be our 17th year, and with issue number 193. It's also possible to subscribe digitally to this newspaper. Now and the newspaper is 32 pages every month. Of these 32 pages, 8 of them are a transliteration. It's a dream come true for me. It's a transliteration of the greatest literary religious work, Me'am Lo'ez, which was done by our friend Yehuda Sidi in Israel. And he's done a great work because to read the Me'am Lo'ez, you have to know Hebrew, the religion, the Parashot, you have to know Turkish, you have to know that, because all of this is inside Ladino. So, and it's written with the old alphabet. So a lot of people tried in the world to make a transliteration, but with lots of errors. So Yehuda did it in a wonderful way. And then I asked him as a special favor to write the Ladino definitions of every word that is not in Ladino originally. So he's done a great, great work. This is, okay, El Amanecer. And we started a new project because of the pandemic, there has been a lot of Ladino lessons online. Rachel Bortnik, Brian Kirshen, Daisy Braverman, they all taught this past summer Ladino, and Liliana Benvenisto also from Argentina. So now there are a lot of students going on, and since December, I have started giving Ladino lessons online for the Sephardic Brotherhood of New York. So every Wednesday night, just before this, I had my class, and a lot of students are interested and they are learning. So we have separated 2 pages of El Amanecer for the students of Ladino, and they have learned enough to write paragraphs and to make us know them. We also have now new projects for young people, and we did 1 year of Viervo del Dia, which is the word of the day. So we gave 1 word every day for 6 days, and then on the 7th day we made a summary of the words that they learned and translated into Turkish, English, and Spanish. So a lot of people loved that, and we publish these on the social media. Then the following year, we did a phrase a day, and with the same thing, translations, Turkish, English, Spanish, and we did a whole year of that. Now, if you search YouTube for Centro Sefaradi, if you write Centro Sefaradi, you will find videos in Ladino with subtitles, songs in Ladino with subtitles, caricatures in Ladino, dubbed, stories and memoirs in Ladino, little films. And you can also find a series of 10 lessons in Ladino with explanations in Turkish if you search for Gerson Şarhon and Ladino. Now with the new course, Sephardic Brotherhood of New York, now you can see, today I gave the 10th lesson, and it will go on. If you're interested in the course, all you have to do is register at www.sephardicbrotherhood/Ladino101, and then you get access to all the classes that were given before. So we have also new projects. We have published a lot of material on Ladino, on music, on Sephardic music, on even religious music, like our collection of maftirim, for example. It's a wonderful collection. It took me 6 years to finish that. And if you go to www.istanbulsephardiccenter.com, you will find books, CDs, DVDs in Judeo-Spanish and other languages as well. Everything you would like to know about the Sephardic language and culture. You can also subscribe digitally to El Amaneser, and it's very low cost and secure shopping. And for the first time in the world, here you have a website in 3 languages, English, Turkish, and Ladino. So first time there's a website in Ladino. And here are some of the materials you can find here in this website. And this Sunday, we have this big event coming up. It's the International Ladino Day on the 21st of February. It's Sunday, 4 o'clock our time. And we have a huge program. Normally, we are the only country in the world that celebrates this International Ladino Day with a whole day of activities in Ladino. And about 400 to 500 people attend, and they all speak Ladino throughout the day. And it is with great joy that I can say that in the last years, a lot of younger, I'm not saying young people, but younger people have joined these, the audience, and they all try to speak Ladino the whole day. So now on Zoom, unfortunately, with the pandemic, we cannot do a whole day of activities in a certain place, location, so it will be on Zoom. And we have been working really hard. It's a 3-hour program, and anybody who wants to listen to Ladino being spoken, being sung, with films, etc., can come and join us. And it will also be published on Facebook. So here are the hours. In Europe, it will be, let's see, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe. And so if you want to support us for our efforts, then you can go to www.istanbulsephardiccenter.com and buy 1 certificate of support if you like. And here's the link. So these are the certificates of support. And as Rafi asked, I would like to finish with a song. We have done, my group, Los Pasharos Sefaradis, have been collecting, preserving, and documenting as many of the Sephardic music as we could find throughout the years. And with my I founded this group with my friend İzak, who is a wonderful person because he also has great patience with little kids, and he has he's doing a great mitzvah, I think, because he's got these 40 kids every year singing from ages 8 to 14, singing songs in Ladino. I don't have the patience that he has. He also has a ladies choir called Ness, because really it was a miracle that those ladies got interested in singing in this language. Now, this is a song that this young man is a student of mine, of Ladino. When I was teaching in the Cervantes Institute, I was teaching Ladino in the Cervantes Institute. So he came to learn Ladino. He's a very talented young man. And he wrote the music of this song, and I wrote the lyrics. And it's called Istanbul mi amor, as you can guess, Istanbul, my love. So if you like, I will sing it to you, and we will end this presentation. Estambul de 7 montes, nos mira de sus árboles, la historia y sus flores, un cante de sus amores. Somos entornados por la mar, no podemos vivir sin nada. El Bósforo y las islas, una magia muy especial. Evencha en el vapor que se va por el Bósforo, haremos que contigo en el aire de Estambul. Estambul mi ciudad, llena de felicidad, un amor a eternidad. Estambul mi amor. Estambul de 7 montes, nos mira de sus árboles, la historia y sus flores, un cante de sus amores. Somos entornados por la mar, no podemos vivir sin nada. El Bósforo y las islas, una magia muy especial. Evencha en el vapor que se va por el Bósforo, haremos que contigo en el aire de Estambul. Estambul mi ciudad, llena de felicidad, un amor a eternidad. Estambul mi amor. Estambul vivo, Estambul lleno, Estambul lucio, Estambul mi amor. Estambul vivo, Estambul lleno, Estambul lucio, Estambul mi amor. Estambul vivo, Estambul lleno, Estambul lucio, Estambul mi amor. Okay, I hope you like this. Oops, no.
Thank you, Karen. It was wonderful to listen to your voice again. And thank you for the presentation.
Then I would be happy.
I think we have a few questions to Rabbi Haleva.
Okay.
And also, before he's going to answer the questions, I forgot to introduce one of our friends from Amsterdam, Nedim Ergil, who is going to give a short presentation about the Turkish-Jewish young community and the Jewish movement, youth clubs, etc. So I want to welcome him as well. Right after Rabbi Haleva, he's going to speak.
Okay, I look at the questions. First, the question is basically, is the Community of Izmir structured with the same way as you describe? Of course, there's no chief rabbi there. Of course, the Izmir, we're talking about 950 people, 1,000 people. They used to have a rabbi, they used to have the chief, there was a center of the religious center, Izmir. But today we have a direct connection with all the countries, whenever they need, we connected with them and they have the same structure. Basically, the president, of course, they are not Beth Din and the chief rabbi, they have the same structure. The rest of the basically is families. Whenever they need, we do help them the rest of the time. And the second question is about Karaites. We do have about 7 Karaites in our country. Only 7 people left. The reason that only 7 people left because there was a gezerah in our country established by the chief rabbinate, by Beth Din, that you should not have any marriage with Karaite Jews. So this is why slowly they diminish. Today they have only 7 Jews left in Karaite Jewish community, and we have direct connection with them. And there are only 7 people left. This is the only 2 questions, I think. There's another question now. Thank you.
So I think it's my turn. Thank you very much for the great presentations, rabbis and Karen. It was a great pleasure to hear you. And hello everyone. I'm Nedim Ergil from Amsterdam. We moved here 2 years ago, and I will have a short presentation for all of you for the Turkish Jewish communities movements and social clubs, let's say. So can you see my screen? You do, I think. Yes, I'm starting them. I will start with the social clubs. As Rabbi Haleva mentioned, there's two social clubs in Turkey right now. One of them is there's three actually. One in Izmir called Liga. I won't mention a lot because the Jewish community and the youngsters are very low in numbers right now. So I will only talk about the Istanbul social clubs. So Göztepe Culture Club is the first one. It's in Asia side and founded in 1975, when the Jewish families are started to move to the Asian side of Istanbul. Now there are 300 Jewish families which are going there from 4 to 80 ages. And regularly there are 200 people every week in the club. And like for the youngsters, like from 6 years and 16 years, there are 100 Hanihim, and there are 16 Madrihim, which are volunteer leaders from 17 age to 21. I was one of them when I was in that age. And it's completely volunteer based, and they make all the cultural and outdoor activities to the club children, Jewish children, let's say. And there's like regular activities, kind of every weekend cultural groups. The topics are Judaism, Jewish holidays, Israeli culture, assimilation, and anti-Semitism mainly. And there are camp activities as all social clubs all around the world. It's 4 times a year to these age groups. There are dance parties, movie nights, Israel folk dance nights in every month in the club building before pandemic and hopefully after the pandemic. And for every age group, there's Israel folk dance groups with a dedicated dance madrich. So every week they see a dance madrich, and still in the pandemic, they have these dance groups from Zoom. And not this year, but every year they have a year-end theatrical musical dance show on the stage. And last time there were 150 people on the stage. So it's something to gather all the club. And there are sports activities, namely basketball and gymnastics for the children. And for the young adults and older, there are cultural activities, theater, and elderly. For the adults and elderly, there are some nice activities for them with the music, with the dining, and so on. There are some nice pictures of the children, of the theater, of the sports clubs, and the gymnastic and the youngsters. And these are the pictures from the last show on the stage from Göztepe Culture Club. And these are the youngsters from Tu Bishvat activity and from Scott activity and the camp. And these are again from camps. So this is all about Göztepe. And I'm moving forward with Aleph Yıldırım. Aleph is this club is founded in 2013, and it was an union of Yıldırım and Dostluk, which was both in the European side of Istanbul, and they both have a heritage of 60 years. And right now, because of the decreasing quantities of the children, so they formed a union and the only club in European side. There are 800 families which they're targeting with their activities from 0 to 70 age group in total, and they're active 350 people regularly coming to the activities. And there are 250 Hanihim from the age of 10 to 16 participating every weekend activities. And like Göztepe, these activities are made voluntarily from Madrihim. And there are weekend activities from them pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, hopefully again, cultural groups, sports, ballet, and Israeli folk dance and dance parties. Also, there are Yıldırım named sports teams, and they are doing football, basketball, Krav Maga, Zumba, swimming, horse riding, table tennis kind of activities, many activities. And club also has a summer location in Büyükada, which Rabbi Haleva mentioned. And there they are doing their summer activities for Jewish children also. And these are some pictures from their activities. And you can see like Israeli folk dance show, you can see a theatrical musical show and Büyükada club pictures, and the ballet and the cultural group activity. And as mentioned before, both Yıldırım and Göztepe has their basketball clubs, and they're playing in the regional leagues for the small children, like below 14 years of age. And they got a couple of cups. Actually, I can say Yıldırım was a more professional club before, and they were playing in first league of Turkish basketball league. And right now they're in the regional league only. And other sports activities, namely Maccabiyat. Turkey has a Maccabiyat team, and it was founded in 1895, and in the name of Israel Gymnastic Club. The reason was the Jews were not accepted at that time to the sports club in Turkey, so that they created a team for themselves. And then the aim was to increase the engagement of the Jewish youth with the Jewish community, with their Jewish roots, by using sports. And in the 12th World Jewish Congress, which was held in 1921, the umbrella organization Maccabi World Union was founded, and Turkish-Jewish Community and Israel Gymnastic Club, which is known as Maccabi Turkey team, has joined that organization. Since 1935, Turkey has participated 20 Maccabiyat games. 13 was in Israel and 7 was in Europe. And in 1995, it was in Amsterdam, and the Turkish team was participated that. And in 1991, Turkish Republic's Ministry of Sports has given an official permit to Jewish teams to participate and use Turkey name and flag in the Maccabiyats. So this picture is from 1935, and this is from the latest one from 2019, sorry. And again, these pictures are from chess team and basketball team and the volleyball team, I think, from 2019. And lastly, last but not least, the dance team. All the clubs has their dedicated dance teams, but Shemesh Karmiel is a community's dance team, I can say. And it was founded in 2005, and they're dancing for 15, let's say 16 years. And it started with one team only, and right now there are 10 teams. They have nearly 400 dancers, like exactly 392, I think, ages from 5 to 55. And it's based in Turkey, Istanbul, and Israeli Turkish folk dancing, jazz, modern dancing. They have all. The core of the club is Israeli folk dances, but they have the others also. Their aim to present a dance and music show in a big hall to more than 2,000 plus viewers every year in Turkey, and they do it for last 10 years, I think. And also the team is one of the main teams which dances in Karmia dance festivals, main stage every year. I don't know if you know it. In Israel, in Haifa, there is Karmia city, which is having a very big international dance festival. And in that dance festival, with the professional dance teams, Shemesh Karmiel is dancing in the main stage for last 15 years. And the aim is to make the folk dance a part of the community for the next generations, to form a community activity to Jewish youngsters, to strengthen the bonds between Jewish youngsters and the community, to make the Jewish youngsters experience being on stage, which is a great thing, to form a bond between Jewish youngsters and Israel by experiencing the Carmel Dance Festival, and to make them meet the Jewish youngsters and the dance lovers from all around the world in Israel. And most importantly, to make Israel folk dance a part of children's life. And it's sports in the end, so they're making sports every week, thanks to Shemesh Karmiel. These are from the last show in Turkey, and they're like theatrical shows. They have some like from every ages, small ages, and 30+ team. So you can see like unity of all the community comes together in a group. And this is the 2019 Karmiel Dance Festival pictures from the Shemesh Karmiel team. And thank you for listening. This is all from me.
Nadim, thank you very much for your interesting presentation. I think it makes this evening finish in a proper way, to have all the aspects of Jewish life presented here.
Thank you very much.
And it's really much appreciated. There's a question here in the chat: are Bnei Akiva or Hashomer Atzair allowed in Turkey?
They are not in Turkey, but these kind of clubs, these kind of youth movements are not allowed in Turkey. So they are not active in Turkey, I can say.
Okay, I think we are going to finish this evening. I first of all like to thank everybody who joined in. We had over 60 people, and as far as I feel it, and I hope Rafi and all the others feel it as well, that it was a nice beginning to have a nice way to cooperate, and we should definitely do this again. And I feel that there should be more this kind of international Zoom events with other Sephardic Kehilot. So we have a lot of common ground here. I want to especially thank all three rabbis, Rabbi Haleva, Rabbi Peres, and of course Rabbi Serfaty for joining us in this evening. It was a great pleasure, and it's almost midnight in Istanbul, so I think it's time to finish. Thank you for your attention tonight, and I hope, God willing, that one day we will be able to be together either in Istanbul or in Amsterdam once we beat the pandemic. And most important, be healthy, be well, and have a great evening. Thank you.